what has changed is this. What I got from my travels was the privilege of being able to visit another century, the 1500s. I had no money, but I had a lot of time and a willingness, and I came at the right moment where someone with very little money like me could go into areas that in the past would have taken an expedition and support, maybe protection, all kinds of things. But when I was there, you could take a jeep or you could take a bus. The buses were starting to run into the most remote areas. And for $2, I remember taking an overnight bus from Lucknow, India, into Kathmandu, an overnight bus, changing countries, going into the Himalayas, and it was $5.
Wow.
For $5, you could go to Nepal. I had the benefit of being at the right time where I could see the medieval world, where it was affordable for someone with no money, just before it became kind of vanished. Now you can get to all these places very, very easily and cheaply, but they've been altered. So there was this one little moment where I snuck in. And part of that experience was I got to live in worlds where there was very little technology. So it's kind of different ages. You could kind of go back to the 1800s pretty easily. With some effort, you could go back to the 1500s. And then occasionally into the tribal areas, you could go back way, way back. And some places like in the hill areas of Thailand and Burma or in the Philippines. So in those moments, I had the experience of living without the technology that I grew up with, let alone the ones that was coming in the next years. And I had visceral appreciation for what that brought to people. And it wasn't like happiness per se. People are very adaptable and can adjust to what they have. And so at some level, they were sort of happy, content in that sense. They were living in villages that had organic food and fantastic vistas and this beautiful organic architecture, and they were very strong families and community support, and they had a very clear idea who they were. All those are really very valuable. But they were taking one-way tickets into the city where there were grimy slums. And why were they doing that? Well, because they had the chance to be the only. Because when they were in that village, they had only one choice of what they were going to do, which was they're going to do what their father or mother did. They're going to be either a farmer or a mother. Even if they might have had the abilities or the genius of a Mozart or an Einstein. And when they moved into the city, what they were moving towards were choices and opportunities and possibilities. And even though the electricity might be uneven, they at least had electricity. Even though the textbooks were missing, they had the choice of going to school and going to college. And so that's why they were moving in by the hundreds of millions. And so what I got from that was seeing what technology gave us and understanding that, yes, there was a cost to it. There was a price that we pay. But the net gain from that was a positive. And I've since kind of refined that idea, and as I studied technology more and as I traveled more, and the way I refine it is to say, I would say that the net gain in a year is only 1%. We may only create 1% more than we actually kind of destroy, but that 1% is enough. That 1% compounded every year is civilization. And so I arrived at this kind of awareness of what we're getting, even as we destroy things, is that yes, there's a net gain in choices and possibilities, and that is a net positive. And that's what I am kind of backing. That bigger story, that bigger arc, is what I hold on to. And I got that from traveling in Asia.
It's beautifully said. And it's interesting to me that you've obviously lived a life that's been steeped in technology, but you really needed that kind of black and white high contrast of technology and no technology to really have that kind of message peer through. And it's interesting, too, as soon as you said, why were people moving to cities because they had a chance to be the only, it's profound in a lot of ways because it's basically the kind of notion that technology allows us to separate ourselves and truly embark on our own hero's journey or journey into becoming something that's really unique, which is really profound.
The thing to emphasize is this giving you the opportunity. It doesn't guarantee that it will happen.
Doesn't guarantee equality, doesn't guarantee a lot of other things.
I am the first to point out that technology will invent or create almost as many new problems as solutions. And so every new technology that we invented to solve a problem of a previous one will itself make new and harmful things. And that this is not a utopia. I call this protopia, where the pro is in progress, the pro is in proceeding, the pro is in affirmative, as in moving forward, as in prototype early. And so this is one it's a flawed world that has just a little tiny bit more good than bad, but social media will have tremendous new problems. AI, oh my gosh. But there will be just a little bit more net gain because of the opportunities and possibilities that we're creating. And so there's no guarantee that people moving in the city will find themselves, but they have an opportunity that they didn't have before. And that's, to me, worth it.